the reigning, defending Super Bowl champions, the Tampa Bay Buccaneers, man. Yeah, that's whose schedule we're gonna be going through today. A little bit different of an intro, but got you gotta give it to the Super Bowl champs, man. So yeah, let me know what you think the record is gonna be down below. I'm gonna get into mine here. Follow along as you wish. Let me know what you agree or disagree with. Let me know if you think they're gonna beat this team that I say they're gonna lose to, or vice versa. So let's get into it. So week one at home, the opening game, two big name brands, Tom Brady versus the Dallas Cowboys. Dak Prescott's gonna be back. That explosive offense gonna be back. So isn't Tom Brady. And Tom Brady's gonna come out of the gate firing. Tampa Bay's gonna come out of the gate firing, and they're gonna beat Dallas week one. Um, they're a much more balanced team in my opinion. If Dallas had a little better defense, maybe I'd consider Dallas a little more, but how is that Dallas offensive line going to be coming back? They did lose some big pieces over these last few years, and they're playing if one of the best, if not the best, pass rushers in the entire NFL. And man, they better be on their wits. They better be on. They better be ready. But you know, Tampa Bay is going to be too much for Dallas at home in the season opener on Thursday night. Too much for Dallas, man. Too much. Week two, they stay at home to play the Atlanta Falcons. Kind of similar to this Cowboys game. They have a really darn good offense, maybe not as good as the Cowboys, but maybe their defense could be a little better at times. If this is one of those games where, if Atlanta's defense a little better, then if it's one of those weeks where it's really good defense, man, maybe they pull out the upset in Tampa Bay, but that's a big if, and I'm going to take Tampa Bay because like I said, this team is very similar to the Cowboys, except for the defensive part. Um, yeah, they have really good offense. They can score, but Tampa Bay is going to be able to score on them when they need to. I'm taking Tampa Bay. Week three, they travel to Los Angeles to play the Los Angeles Rams. The Rams are a really darn good team, man. This year, this is going to be a really fun one. The new look, the new look Rams with Matthew Stafford. Um, and then you have Tom Brady, the reigning Super Bowl champion, which is where the Rams are trying to go right now, as every team is. But um, a team that's more realistically a Super Bowl champion, in my opinion, or a Super Bowl caliber team, in my opinion. Um, but do they beat the reigning Super Bowl champs in the Tampa Bay Buccaneers? I say no. I say no because as we seen last year, Tom Brady and that team took a little while to get used to each other a bit. They really had some learning curves, even at the end of the season. They did towards then, that Saints game, there were plenty of games where they really, seemed like they struggled, in that Chargers game as well. Um, I think that this veteran team, I think that this team is going to be able to, mess that up a little bit and, give them a check, give them a reality check after the Rams probably win their first 2 weeks or whatever. So I'm taking Tampa Bay week three over the Los Angeles Rams. Week four, we're at home. And Tom Brady, man, is going up against this man, Bill Belichick. What can you say, man? What can you say? One of the best coaches in NFL history versus one of the best players in NFL history. Tom Brady and Bill Belichick. We were all waiting for this matchup this year. We all have it circled on our calendars, but who's going to come out victorious on this Sunday night game? I'm going to take Tampa Bay. This is kind of similar to the Rams game. But I think the Patriots are little. I don't think they're as good. Um, I think that the Patriots are gonna win this. No, I think that Tom Brady is gonna come into New England, his home basically, his second home right now, and beat Bill Belichick and the Patriots. Yeah, I think that the receivers, they may not have as good of a day, but man, it's Tom Brady. He's gonna get the job done against his former team. When he has a fire lit under him, the moment you doubt this dude is the moment he's gonna bite you in the back. This is the moment he's gonna come after you. And I'm not saying no one's gonna doubt him going into this game, but I'm just saying when he has that flame lit, when he's motivated, you don't want to get in the way of that man, especially when it comes to throwing a football around. Last thing you want to do. So I'm taking Tampa Bay in this game. I think that Tampa Bay defense is gonna mess up that new look offense as well. A lot new weapons and tight ends: Geno Smith, Hunter Henry. Um, some wide receivers are new. How is that rookie quarterback going to do if Mac Jones is in by now? We don't know. I can see Mac Jones being in by now. He's going to struggle versus that defense, that pass rush. Yeah, I do like the Patriots' uh, offensive line. It's one of the best in the league, but I'm going to take the Tampa Bay Buccaneers and New England. Week 5 at home versus the Miami Dolphins. This is going to be an interesting game. Miami is a really good defense, right? Their season is kind of riding on Tua. If Tua's pretty darn good, and if he is going to be as good as some people are saying he's going to be, he doesn't have to be great. He could be a premium game manager, and he could bring the Dolphins to, you know, wild card, a divisional round, maybe even, because he's got some really good weapons, and that defense is looking really darn good right now. Um, Whether X goes or stays, I still think that defense is going to be pretty good. Will it be as good? Probably not, but it'll still probably be good enough. You know what I mean. It's still going to be that really good defense because they have so much there. So yeah, but their offense, man, this is gonna be a game where maybe Tua has a few good games or whatever. Tua's gonna struggle versus this team, this pass rush. This Dolphins front is gonna struggle versus this pass rush. And as we see in the Super Bowl, you know, you need an offensive line. Not always in the regular season, not always, but it sure does help a lot. And Tua's gonna be running for his darn life in this game. I'm taking Tampa Bay and I'm taking the Tampa Bay Buccaneers and Tom Brady in this game. Week 6 at the Philadelphia Eagles. The Eagles are a team that they have a really darn good pass rush. It's nasty, and it could definitely win a few games alone off of that pass rush. But the big thing is, the teams that have the really good offensive lines are the teams they're going to lose to and struggle to. And what does Tampa Bay have? They have really good darn offensive line, and the rest of their team is pretty darn good. So I think that Tampa Bay is going to win this one. I'm taking Tampa Bay, but hey, man, crazier stuff has happened in the NFL. Um, just the way things go, man. So then you have the Week 7 matchup at home versus the Chicago Bears. I'm gonna take the Tampa Bay Buccaneers once again, man. Um, this could be a good game. This could be an interesting game. But whoever the quarterback is, I think they're gonna struggle versus this defense. That Bears that Bears offensive line is gonna have a rough night. I think David Montgomery's not gonna have a lot of room to run, and that's what the Bears really want to do. The Bears want to pound the freaking crap out of the ball. That's what it seems they want to do. Um, and are they going to be able to do it effectively enough versus Tampa Bay? I don't think so. But will Justin Fields help with that or Andy Dalton? Maybe. But I think Tampa Bay comes with the win here. I want to take Tampa Bay over Chicago. They're the more complete team. I also think that that the, I also think that this Chicago Bears defense is on a near decline. It's starting to decline a little bit. Not as good as it has been in recent years. Just taking that hit. Week 8, the travel to the New Orleans Saints. Um, I'm gonna take Tampa Bay in this game as well, man. I'm gonna take Tampa Bay because, um, well, it's just so hard not to pick them. You know, it's a bad matchup for like every darn team. It really is because they basically have everything, man. I mean, what don't they have? Really, what don't they have? They have every darn thing they need to repeat. And will they? Gosh knows who. Gosh knows who. I think they definitely could. Most complete roster. They brought back all their starters. They're only going to have another year to build, a whole offseason to build upon what they started last year. And it's only going to keep going. And, you know, I don't see New Orleans beating them this year. I just don't. I do like Jameis, but, this team, Bruce Arians knows him so well. Going to get a few picks off him, and then Tampa Bay is going to get a few possessions off those picks, and that's going to be a difference. Week 9 is a bye week. Week 10 at the Washington football team. Now, this is a game I can see them losing. May surprise you. I'm going to take the Washington football team. I know off a bye week, I'm taking the Washington football team to beat Tom Brady off of a bye week. Bruce Arians off of a bye week. I think the Washington football team stuns everyone, and I think they upset the Tampa Bay Buccaneers. I think that front is going to piss Tom Brady off a bit. I think that front's going to piss him off a bit. Hey, maybe that Chicago front does it. Maybe that Philly front finds a way to do it. We don't know. Maybe that Rams front will. Maybe the Dolphins front will. But is it realistic to say that all the teams are going to get to him? No, heck no. Is it realistic to say that maybe two times they do, and this team just has a few sloppy games? Heck yeah. And I honestly think that Washington football team can be one of them. They have four really darn good down um players that could just rush. I can just go after him and frickin' demolish the quarterback, man. Washington football team is going to demolish this front line. Tom Brady's going to have one of those games. He's going to get really pissed and he's going to go on that sideline and he's going to be yelling and cursing up a storm at his teammates, at everyone. That's just how I see this game. Um, and then you go to week 11. We're at home versus the New York Giants. This is a Monday night game. Once again, they're playing on Monday night versus the Giants. And the Giants came actually pretty darn close to beating them last year. If it wasn't for a few extra plays that the Giants, maybe converted, maybe they would have beaten the eventual Super Bowl champs. But I'm gonna take Tampa Bay again. I know they were close, but I think Daniel Jones is gonna struggle again. I didn't think that the wide receiver group was a problem last year, even though, yeah, it is much better than it was last year, but I don't think it was a problem. So it was more so getting the ball to the receivers on a consistent basis, but it is what it is. Yeah, I do like that the New York Giants defense. It is, kind of, very different than the Washington football teams. The New York Giants defense is a playmaking defense, I guess you could say. They have really good corners. Pass rush is, pretty good. They have some pretty good players at pass rush that could get the job done. But then, it's kind of vice versa for the Washington football team. Their secondary is decent, and it's enough to get the job done. But their defensive line is one of the best in the NFL, and they're going to eat you alive if you're not careful. So, I'm gonna take the Tampa Bay Buccaneers versus the New York Giants at home. Week 12, Tampa Bay travels to the Indianapolis Colts, to Indianapolis to play the Indianapolis Colts. This is a really bad matchup for the Colts, man. Really good offense, really good defense. This is a really bad matchup for the Colts. I'm taking Tampa Bay here. Week 13, they travel to Atlanta, and I think I'm going to take Atlanta to upset them here. I think that this is one of those games, once again, where Tampa Bay and Tom Brady just have one of those games where they're sloppy. We've seen it a few times last year. They were sloppy. But then other weeks they were pretty darn good, and obviously they look like they're reigning the eventual Super Bowl champs. Um, you go back and forth on this one. On both of these games, I do think the Atlanta Falcons are going to shock once, and I think they're going to beat them once. Yeah, that Atlanta offense line isn't the greatest, but Arthur Smith's system, the short passes, that he could play small ball. They do got Mike Davis, so not a big fan of. I mean, Mike Davis was pretty darn good when he was with Carolina for a few weeks, and I think he could be pretty darn good for the Atlanta Falcons this year. But I just mean the guards of him going up against Tampa Bay. It's not going to be easy, and like I said, I'm not a huge fan of that offensive line, but it gets the job done. So yeah, I'm taking Atlanta to upset them here. Week 14 at home versus the Buffalo Bills. Um, I'm taking Tampa Bay. I'm taking Tampa Bay, man. Yeah, Buffalo's a really good offense. Maybe their defense will be, really good this year again. It was decent last year. A lot of people thought that last year that they were gonna win games because of their defense, but surprisingly, they won games because of their offense. And if Josh Allen plays really darn good, and if that defense, returns to how good it was, man, that's gonna be a tough team to beat. But I'm gonna take Tampa Bay. Like I said, they know how to get it done. They know how to get it done. Week 15 at home versus the New Orleans Saints. I'm taking Tampa Bay to sweep the Saints. Like I said, I do like Jameis Winston. I do like some of his traits, but you can only, change a quarterback. You can only change a mindset so much. And I don't think you could change Jameis Winston's mindset to not have, if you're gonna have him chuck it up a lot, you know, He didn't throw a lot of picks, and he chucks it up half the game. Maybe under Sean Payton, maybe learn under Breeze for a year makes a difference. Maybe he learned something. But at the end of the day, your true self is gonna come out. Yourself is a person that's always gonna be there. You know what I'm trying to say, and just throwing that extra pick or two is gonna be a difference in these games. That Tampa Bay front is still gonna get to the quarterback. I don't care whose offense line you are, what you have. That front is gonna get to you. Week 16, they're at the Carolina Panthers. I'm gonna take Tampa Bay in this one. I'm not a big, I do think that the Panthers have a few good players in some spots. Some good wide receivers. I do like the defensive line. I do love J.C. Horn. Love J. I love Jeremy Chin, even though his role is going to be a little different this year. So he may not be as good, but you never know. His role is just going to be a little different. Yeah, I'm taking Tampa Bay. Week 17 at the New York Jets. I'm taking Tampa Bay here as well. Zach Wilson is, he's a rookie quarterback. He's a young quarterback. He's going to struggle versus his really talented defense. I'm not a big fan of the Jets defense. I think Tampa Bay gets it done. Week 18 at home versus the Carolina Panthers. This could be a game where they're sitting their players, and if they sit their players, I'm gonna give them the loss. I'm gonna give Carolina the win if they sit their starters. Carolina may not even be able to beat the backups. I'm sorry to say it, but I'm not a big fan of Carolina. Even though, like I said, they do have some good players in some spots, but they definitely have some work to do. I'm not a big fan of the offensive line. Um, their defense still needs some work, but it's getting there. It's getting there. They're starting to look like, they're just a year or two away. So that's it for this video. So I thank you guys for tuning in to the JDW Sports Talk Show, where every fan is welcome. And today, obviously, we predicted the Tampa Bay Buccaneers record. So I thank you for stopping by. Make sure to hit that like and subscribe button. Put that bell on. Or don't, because I'm gonna be posting a crap ton of videos. So putting that bell on it might get a little annoying, man. So do what you wish. Do what you wish. So as always, I'll catch you guys next time. Bada boom, bada boom. Thank you for tuning in.